We're live. How's everybody doing? This is the RawDawg Shonen. One half of the RawDawg Shonen. This is Ben. The other half is Seth. He does a lot of the Boruto. I'm your One Piece guy. He's catching up in the One Piece. So let's just talk about a little bit about this. So we're just two new people on YouTube. We're just getting in the rift of it. We're gonna try to do some anime reviews and manga reviews of the series of what we like, and then maybe in the future we'll try to do some newer series or some older series, or whatever the fans would like us to try to dive in. We'll like to hear it in the comments and everything. But for now, we're gonna go through like the chapter reviews of the latest chapters of each series coming up, and then how we really feel about where the series is gonna go, and give it our own opinion about theories or reactions or anything that has to do with what we love. I've really loved One Piece from the get-go. I still think it's one of the greatest fictional. Actually, I'm not great is. I think it is the greatest fictional story on this generation has ever seen, and I still think having a series go for as long as it has and being as consistent as it has been is a phenomenal achievement for Ichiro Oda. And I think that's one thing I would like to say before I start with the chapter review, because I do want to give that shout out for everybody that's in this One Piece community all around. It's like, we got to give our flowers to Oda. I know everybody says it, but it's an amazing series, and it brought people all over the world just talking about it, theorizing, and debating anything that has to do with One Piece, or seeing like this, getting cool things like this. I have my own version of the Thousand Suns that I haven't built. Maybe I'll do that in a possible video in the future, but let's get started with the chapter. So we're at chapter 1149 called 1 Second, which definitely I read it already today. So this is my main review on it. And I will say the Elbaf arc itself has been phenomenal from the get-go. It's been go, go, go. There has been no really like settlement for the characters themselves. It's like very fast-paced compared to Wano. It's like kind of like Egghead Island. It's like once they got there, the ball started rolling. I don't think we're gonna be here too much longer. I want to say maybe another 10 to 15 chapters. I really want to say. I think we'd probably be out of here before we hit 1,160. That would be 11 chapters. Probably a little bit over that. I'd say be probably out of here by 1,175 before then, probably. But let's get into the chapter. So we start off, and where we left off last was Scopper Gaban comes in and slices Summers, and we're seeing actual damage being happened to one of the God Knights for once, instead of being impenetrable by any means. And which you should be able to when you're the left-hand man of the former king of the pirates, Rogers and everything, and watching Scopper Caban with his abilities with his axe is pretty amazing. And we get into this, and we go into this chapter, and we're learning a little bit more about Scopper Caban's the way he fights, and we see some of the movements of an former older age left-hand man of the Pirate King. And we're seeing it toll on him that it's been a while since he's been in the sparring session, like how he was with Luffy a few chapters back, and he was testing Luffy and Zoro's strength. He was just testing. He was not really trying to fight those guys. He was just seeing it like, hey, this is who Shanks was talking about. He is the guy that's going to be taking over the story from here and finishing what Gold Rogers couldn't at the time. So we're seeing the fight go on, and we're watching him chop Summer's thorns down like they're nothing. But the cool part, what I like about it, is like Summer's thorns are like hockeyed, but they're like steel. They're like as strong as steel or even stronger. And you could see that, which is cool. Like his Devil Fruit ability mixed with hockey, so he can armament hockey his Devil Fruit and make it pretty much like a harder thorn that pierces, and then uses it as like a wall of defense around him. But we're sitting there with the other Straw Hats that were all captured. We got Nami, Robin, Jinbei and Brook and Usopp all captured right there with their thorns, and Nami's goes over and says, "Oh yeah, we met this guy at the castle. He's Scopper Caban. He's one of the former Roger pirates." And so you learn about that, but the other Straw Hats didn't know that, and they didn't know who this guy was. So they learned that very quick. They're getting that information from Nami, and Nami's bringing that into this fight. We also see Chopper. Chopper's free. He's still in Saul's hair, but he didn't get captured. So he's still waiting to be doing what he can do to help out with the team in any way possible. Then we see the slice called Axe Sympathy, which is pretty cool. A pretty cool move, I want to say, like the way he uses his axes and stuff, and it has a way in a musical note. He chops Summer right in half. Like you see the hockey comes off of Summer, so you know this is hurting him. I don't think this kills him. I think it puts him out, in my opinion. I think it's what my opinion where I saw that part happen in this scene. I was like, you introduce God Knights, you're not gonna take them out that easily. I don't care how great of a character you are. I think you can nerf them like and capitalize them or whatever you want to call it to put them down for a bit. And I think that's what happened. So we see that, and then we see Chopper running out and going free, but we also get into the part where we're learning about the library burning down from last chapter, and we see, I think it's Saint Killingham, the seahorse, dreaming seahorse guy. He's shooting flaming arrows. I have like a question about that with his devil fruit of dreaming. I'm curious if he just maybe dreamed because he didn't have the arrows or anything like that with him at the time. I wonder if he can just like dream weapons or dream items and they appear just like how the dreams came true from what their thoughts were, which would make more sense to me because then he can appear the arrow and then shoot the flaming arrow that he dreamed of at the library. Which I think that's what happens in that scene right there is he does that and then he lights the fire. We're seeing the library burn down, and we get the silhouette, not silhouette, but we get the view of Robin seeing the library burn down, and we're seeing that happen. It brings up back up to flashbacks, not in this chapter, but for me, when I first read that, it brought up flashbacks when Robin saw O'Hara burn down that library, which that tree and everything burned down her whole village and everything was right there. That is giving her probably flashbacks to now, and she's feeling like she's helpless that she can't do anything. I have my thing is I think she's going to be the one that takes care of the flames. I think she's either going to use her awakening devil fruit power, but she doesn't have to be. She's not still in prison, so she can still use her devil fruit powers no matter what. I think she's going to create her true form, that the devil form, and the devil is going to have like a big bucket or hand, or she's going to be able to scoop like a big bucket of water from her hand and pour it over top of the tree, and that's going to let the water go down through and let the flames of the tree where the library is at. Pretty much, I think Robin's gonna have her devil mode, and she's gonna come over top with her big devil woman body and cup enough water somehow, and then just put it over top of the flames, and she's gonna stop that. I do think now that Robin might be the one that fights Saint Killingham. Possibility. I don't want to say anything. I don't think any of these Straw Hats, maybe besides Jinbei, is gonna have like a true one on like to truly probably not just get one shot by a God Knight, like be able to stand their toes on with a God Knight. I think God Knights are probably up there with like I don't want to say they're Yonko level, but they're probably up there with Yonkos. I think certain God Knights are like up there, and then other certain God Knights are like right there with them, or like first main of a Yonko, in my opinion. So we see the Jarl. Jarl's crying about the flames of the library burning down, and it just feels like there's no hope and too much is happening all at once while they're just sitting there. And then you go back over to Gunko. Gunko's there with the little girl from last chapter, and she's Ronja. I think it's Ronja. If comments, let me know. I might be saying people's names wrong. I'm pretty bad at that. I do know who the characters are. I just my pronunciation is pretty up and down for the most part. So you see Ronju and Gunko, and she's coming back off the plank that she made with the arrow that she has. So she comes back off, and you see, I think that is one of the knights, the giants. I always get it's one of the brothers of the giants that, and I'm gonna get butchered in the comment, but he's seems like they're going towards the library, like they're coming up that way, and then the other group might be going somewhere else. But now you flip over to the next page, you see Scott Gaban making eye contact with Gunko, and now he already took out Summers. He's heading towards Gunko and thinking, if I can take her out, then we have no less problems. But I got to do this quick because you got the kids walking away, and then you feel a lot of pressure with what's happening around Elbeth at the moment. But his biggest worry is he sees his son, and he knows that he needs to save his son as soon as possible. The problem is his son sees him coming. And as any son, I would be like, my dad was, I was a kid and my dad, I was in trouble or like getting kidnapped. I see my dad, I probably would be the same as Colin. I'd probably be like, Dad. But like, the God Nuts don't know that Scott Gaban had a kid. And now, with Colin yelling out in that orderly file line that they're all in, Colin yelling out, Dad or Daddy, gave Gunko the knowledge and everything that she needs to use it in her way as an advantage moving forward in this mission. So what she does is pretty much they do that one-on-one fight. She's using her arrows to deflect his axes coming at her, and she maneuvers around and goes straight towards Colin. And when she has Colin like Colin with her little, looks like her sword piercing by his neck, like, I got him, don't move, or else he's gonna die. And it puts Scott Gaban in a weird situation. He goes into his flashback when he first meets his son and reminisces off of his true treasure, which is his son. Like, having his son being birthed is his true treasure, which is a lot of fathers, I would say, out there, when they have their first child, that's their treasure. Their kids are their treasure, living on through their life, knowing that their legacy is going to live on through their kids while fulfilling their own legacy moving forward. Which you see that, and we get to see a little bit of observation future sight hockey from Scott Gaban. We see what was going to happen. It was, he knows there was no way out of this, and he sees the future where she was going to pierce his neck and he couldn't stop it. There was no way he would have been able to stop it. So then he does the next thing that he can do is he yields. He raises his hands up. He surrenders himself. You see his axe drop down, and he just spares himself. He said, just take me. You know you obviously want to kill me, and then just don't do anything to my son. And at that moment, Gunko shoots a piercing arrow, whatever you want to call those, like directional arrows. I don't like calling it an arrow because I'm thinking arrows like that, but a directional arrow right at him, which two of them come right into him. It looks like 2 to 3. 3 of them, it looks like, hit him. And he falls off the tree where they're at, up there by the library. He's falling down. And I'm thinking he's probably going to fall all the way down towards where Luffy is at, and Zoro and Sanji down there in the underworld with Loki. And I think what's going to happen next, in my opinion, right there after that scene, is what's going to happen next is Scott Gaban's going to make that impact, fall down in the snow area, and then they're all going to go see him. They're going to talk to him, find out what's going on, understand that there's a lot more going on at the moment. And I think they're going to have a little bit more talk with Loki, and I think Loki's going to team up with the Straw Hats, because I think we're going to have to get a Loki flashback soon. I think probably after this chapter. And we'll get more in depth on Loki and why it happened and why he was pretty much the guy that this big bad villain, but there's something about him that I think is getting misinterpreted, and I think that's what we're gonna find out. I think over time, I think he was framed, and I think he just sticks with like what he's been framed for, because I don't think anybody believes him, if that makes sense. Kind of like a reverse, kind of like Usopp when he cried wolf in the beginning, but I think it's the opposite. I think Loki was there with his dad seen some things, and I think Loki got blamed for it for his pretty much everything. But that's why he murdered his dad. I think there's an underlying issue. Why did he kill the king beforehand, the original Jarl before? So we go to the last page of the chapter. We're sitting here, which this last scene you get so much information. I'll start it off right with the get go. What everybody's been talking about this chapter is the Gunko scene, Gunko's flashback of seeing Brooke. I don't think Gunko is Brooke's father. I don't think that at all. I think Gunko, not the other. I mean, Brooke's not Gunko's father. I'm sorry, everybody, but I don't think that at all. I think it's something to do with Brooke being a part of that kingdom, but like he was like a council member or something, or like a knight. And I think he was like a guard or something for Gunko. I do think that. I think if anything, I think Brooke's captain was her original was that her father, and then Brooke was kind of more of like a father figure for her, I would say, because that's the only other thing I could think. That's one possibility is like that because Brooke must have had some sort of big impact on her. I think they might have took like music lessons and everything, and Brooke like taught her how to like play an instrument, and that's how they got to know each other, and then that led to their reminiscing of making a relationship of some sort of bond that they have. But we see that, and we get to theorize that for the next probably week or two because I think we're gonna get a little bit more of a flashback, maybe, probably not. But that theorizes this is like we get a little bit of an understanding of what's going on through Emu's eyes of like what's going on down at Marijola. There's something going on. It's burning down, and people don't have an idea. I think the revolutionaries making their move right now, which is what's being called for. It's like it's that time that needs to happen, which is exciting. It's like it tells you that the story's getting sped up as fast as possible, and we're really in it, people. We're in the final arcs. We are in the moment, the rotation. I think like after Elbeth, where it's like this is how it's going to be laid out. You kind of see like the writing on the wall where we're going from here. And I think it's going to be exciting, like knowing that Emu's ability is that incredibly powerful that she can take over the God Knights at any second is incredible. It also makes me think though, like if she could have done that, couldn't she have taken over Saturn, or can she not take over the five elders? Like, do they still have like a mindset of their own that she's not able to take them, but like she's able to teleport them out of battle, but teleport them back in battle, if that makes sense. It's so weird, in my opinion. There's like a lot that we're going to find out more about Emu, I think, in this next few chapters. We get to see Emu in the next chapter, though, fight, which is going to be not really fight with their power, but like fight with the God Knight power. So we're going to see like what's the difference. Is Emu like this all national, like martial artist or something, like knows how to do his moves or maneuver out of the way? Or I think Emu might be able to like untap potential out of people. Like I think we're gonna see what we saw out of Gunko now, but like times 10. Like she's able to use her directional arrows quicker, but more swifter, or make her directional arrows even bigger than what they can be. So they're undodgeable at that point. Something like that along the line. But I also feel like maybe another theory would be too is like she can use her hockey inside Gunko. So like we're gonna get Emu's hockey abilities with Gunko's body. So like something like that, like her conqueror hockey, her armament hockey abilities, something along that line. There's a lot of ways to go down this, and I'm really awesome to see where this goes. I've been loving Elbaf so far. I just feel like we're getting a little rushed to it right now, but because I want to see more of the land. Like there's so much we were told about Elbaf, and I feel like we're getting a little bit rushed into it. Having a Brooke flashback was not one of my things that I was thinking that we were going to see. I was like, Usopp was going to be like some sort of hero or something. Maybe like getting a little bit more history on the Giants and how everything started, like the first giant or something along that line. and then maybe some like history of Joy Boy in the heaven sector once we get up there. But I'm excited to see where this goes. I'm excited to see how this fight's gonna happen with the three God Knights that are there. I want to know what's going on in Mary Joda, why it's burning. That's kind of a good thing. Is it the revolutionaries attacking? It could be Blackbeard. It could be anybody really at this point. Hey, I might even put the Cross Guild in there. No, not really. I don't think Buggy would be able to get up there. But hey, that's chapter 1149. I would love to hear some more people's theories. If you guys got any theories or any like comments of like, what do you guys feel about this chapter? There's a lot of information that was put in this chapter in a short period of time, which is awesome to comprehend. I'm probably going to take another few days to just look over some of the things and that fights and all that and the moves that were said. Because I'm like curious, like I might also read back through Bark a little bit and just get a little bit more information on Brooke. See if I'm missing anything that might lead me into a way to understand that who Gunko possibly could have been that for Brooke and vice versa. I'm excited to see where this goes forward. And yeah, this might be a start of a new journey, people. From here on out, you're part of the RawDawg Shonen. And we're going to be reviewing One Piece every week when they come out. So come along on the journey. We might not be the best, but we're having a good old time. And that's all, folks.